Beloved soul, pause everything right now because what I am about to reveal will shake the foundation of everything you thought you understood about your journey. There is a reason this message found you at this exact second. Not an hour ago, not tomorrow morning, but right now in this precise moment when the universe needed you to hear something that will change the trajectory of your entire existence. Something has been building in the invisible realm, something so powerful that it has already started rearranging the circumstances of your life without you even realizing it. And tonight, the veil is being lifted so you can finally see what has been happening behind the scenes while you were just trying to survive each day. Type Amen right now if something inside you already recognized this was meant for you before you could logically explain why. Because there are no accidents in divine timing. Your eyes landing on these words at this moment is not random. It is orchestration. It is confirmation. It is the universe tapping you on the shoulder and saying, pay attention. What you have been waiting for is closer than you think. And what I am about to share will either confirm what your spirit has been trying to tell you, or wake up a knowing you did not realize was asleep inside you. Listen carefully because for months, maybe even years, you have been carrying a feeling you could not name. A sense that something significant was supposed to happen in your life. A quiet knowing that your story was meant to be bigger than what you were currently experiencing. But every time you tried to explain this to someone, the words felt inadequate. Every time you looked for evidence, the physical world showed you nothing that matched the magnitude of what you felt internally. So you started questioning yourself. You started wondering if maybe you were imagining things. Maybe you were being delusional. Maybe you needed to just accept a smaller, simpler, more predictable life and stop expecting something extraordinary. But here is what you did not know. While you were doubting yourself, while you were talking yourself out of your own intuition, while you were trying to fit into a life that felt too small for your spirit, the universe was working tirelessly behind the scenes. Doors were being prepared. People were being positioned. Lessons were being downloaded into your consciousness. Blocks were being removed one by one. And a path was being cleared toward a destiny so aligned with your soul's purpose that when it finally materializes, you will look back at this exact moment and realize this was the night everything shifted. Someone else is reading these words right now who has spent the last few months feeling like they are going crazy. They keep seeing signs. They keep having dreams that feel more real than their waking life. They keep experiencing synchronicities so specific that they cannot be coincidence. But everyone around them treats them like they are being irrational, overly spiritual, too sensitive, reading into things that are not there. And slowly, they have started to shut down that part of themselves. They have started to ignore the signs. They have started to dismiss the intuition. They have started to believe that maybe everyone else is right, and they are just desperate for meaning in a meaningless existence. This message exists to reach them before they close that door completely, before they talk themselves out of trusting what they know, before they settle for a version of life that feels safe but soul-crushing. Your presence here is not random. Your willingness to stay with these words instead of scrolling past them is significant. And the fact that something inside you is responding to this message, even if your logical mind is trying to dismiss it, is proof that your spirit recognizes truth when it hears it. Type yes if you feel this in your core. Now pay close attention because what I am about to tell you will explain why the last season of your life felt so incredibly difficult, why nothing seemed to work no matter how hard you tried, why doors kept closing, why people kept leaving, why opportunities kept falling through, why you felt stuck, stagnant, frustrated, and confused about why your life was not moving forward. You thought something was wrong with you. You thought you were being punished. You thought you had done something to deserve the struggle, but the truth is the exact opposite. You were being prepared. You were being refined. You were being emptied of everything that did not align with where you are going. because where you are headed requires a different version of you than the one who started this journey. The old you, with all the old patterns, old beliefs, old relationships, old habits, would not survive what is coming. Not because what is coming is destructive, but because what is coming is so expansive, so abundant, so aligned, that the old version of you would sabotage it out of fear, unworthiness, and unfamiliarity. So the universe did what it always does when it loves someone deeply. It allowed the stripping away. It allowed the loss. It allowed the isolation. It allowed the confusion, not to harm you but to prepare you. Every person who walked away was making room for the right people. Every door that closed was redirecting you toward the right door. Every plan that failed was protecting you from a path that would have led you away from your purpose. And every moment of emptiness was creating space for the fullness that is about to flood your life. But here is the part most people miss. The preparation season does not end when you feel ready. It ends when the universe knows you are ready. And the universe measures readiness differently than humans do. Humans measure readiness by confidence, by having it all figured out, by feeling prepared and excited. But the universe measures readiness by surrender, by trust, by the willingness to move forward even when you do not have all the answers. And beloved, you have reached that point. Whether you realize it or not, you have crossed a threshold. The version of you reading these words is not the same version who started this journey. You have been transformed, and that transformation has unlocked the next level. Type 777 in the comments right now. 777 is the number of divine completion, of spiritual alignment, of heaven confirming that you are exactly where you need to be. If you feel it, that sense that something is complete even though nothing visible has changed yet, type 777. Let it be your agreement with what is already in motion. There is something happening in the invisible realm right now that you need to understand. Angelic forces have been assigned to your situation, not metaphorically, literally. There are spiritual beings who have been given the assignment to clear your path, open your doors, connect you with the right people, and remove everything that would hinder what is about to unfold. They do not move according to your timeline. They do not respond to your complaints or frustrations. They respond to your faith, your alignment, and your readiness. And something you did recently, maybe a decision you made, maybe a boundary you set, maybe a belief you released, triggered a response in the spiritual realm. The moment you made that shift, whenever it was, things started moving. Not in the physical world yet, but in the realm where all physical manifestation begins. Conversations started happening in rooms you are not in. Thoughts about you started entering minds of people who will play a role in your next chapter. Opportunities started forming that have your name on them. Resources started being released that were being held until the right time. And spiritual blocks that were keeping you contained in the old season started crumbling. You may have even felt it without understanding what it was. A sudden sense of relief for no apparent reason. A strange peace in the middle of uncertainty. An unexplainable knowing that everything is going to be okay, even though nothing has visibly changed. That was not your imagination. That was confirmation from the spiritual realm that the shift has already happened. Now you are just waiting for the physical world to catch up with what has already been set in motion. But while you wait, you have a choice. You can wait in anxiety, doubt, and fear, constantly checking for evidence, growing frustrated every day that nothing visible has changed. Or you can wait in faith, in peace, in expectation, trusting that what has been promised is already on its way, and your job is simply to stay ready, stay aligned, and stay open. The way you wait determines how you receive. If you wait in fear, even when the blessing arrives, you will struggle to receive it because your frequency will not match it. But if you wait in faith, when the blessing arrives, you will be perfectly positioned to receive it fully. Someone else found this message on a night when they were about to give up. Not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet way. The kind of giving up that happens when you stop dreaming, stop hoping, stop believing that your life could be different than it currently is. They were not planning to harm themselves or make a drastic decision. They were just planning to stop expecting anything good, to stop looking for signs, to stop believing in destiny, to accept that maybe their life is just what it is and nothing extraordinary is coming. This message exists to reach them before that resignation becomes permanent. Your seed here is not just a donation. It is a declaration. When you give into this space, you are declaring that you still believe, that you have not given up, that you are willing to invest in the invisible before it becomes visible, that you trust that what you are waiting for is real and worth preparing for. Through the link in the description and the pinned comment, plant a seed into this ministry. Not out of obligation, but out of alignment. And as you give, release a prayer with it. Not a vague prayer, but a specific one. The exact thing you have been believing for but were afraid to name out loud because naming it felt too vulnerable. The relationship that finally feels like home. The opportunity that uses the gifts you have been hiding. The breakthrough that does not just change your circumstances, but changes your entire trajectory. The moment when everything you have been through suddenly makes sense. The vindication that proves you were not crazy for believing. The overflow that allows you to bless others the way you have been blessed. Name it as you give because what you release with specificity, the universe responds to with specificity. And what you are waiting for is not as far away as the silence has made it feel. Before we go deeper, take a moment to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications if these messages resonate with something deep inside you. Because what I am sharing is not random content. It is a frequency. And if you are here, it is because your spirit recognizes this frequency. There are more messages coming that are specifically for you. Stay connected. Stay in this current. And share this with someone who needs to hear it because sometimes the message comes through you before it comes to them. Now listen very carefully because the next part is going to unlock something. There is a specific reason why your breakthrough has been delayed until now. And it is not what you think. You have probably blamed yourself, thinking if you had more faith, more discipline, more consistency, it would have happened already. Or you have blamed God, thinking if He really loved you, He would not make you wait this long. Or you have blamed the universe, thinking maybe it forgot about you, maybe your name got skipped, maybe you are just not one of the chosen ones. But none of that is true. The delay was intentional. The waiting was purposeful. The silence was strategic. Because what is coming is so significant, so life-altering, so permanent that you had to be fully prepared to steward it. Most people think they want the breakthrough, but they are not ready for what comes with it. They are not ready for the responsibility. They are not ready for the visibility. They are not ready for the opposition that always accompanies elevation. They are not ready for the relationships that will change. They are not ready for the version of themselves they will have to become to maintain what they are asking for. So the universe, in its infinite wisdom, made you wait, not to punish you but to prepare you. And during the waiting, it was doing something you could not see. It was building your capacity. It was strengthening your character. It was testing your motives. It was refining your desires. It was removing your need for external validation. It was teaching you how to stand alone so that when you are surrounded by people, you do not lose yourself. It was training you in obscurity so that when you step into visibility, you do not lose your integrity. Every single thing you went through during the waiting had a purpose. The betrayal taught you discernment. The loneliness taught you self-sufficiency. The failure taught you resilience. The rejection taught you that your value is not determined by who chooses you. The loss taught you that everything you need is already inside you. And the silence taught you how to hear the voice of God above all other voices. None of it was wasted. All of it was necessary. And now you are finally ready for what you have been asking for. Type 1111 if you receive this word. 1111 is the number of alignment, of new beginnings, of manifestation. It is the universe saying, I hear you, I see you, I am moving on your behalf. If something inside you is responding to this message, if something is waking up, if something is saying yes, type 1111. Let it be your declaration that you are ready for what is next. Now here is what is about to happen. Very soon, you are going to see evidence in the physical realm that matches what you have been feeling in the spiritual realm. It may start small, a conversation that opens a door, a message from someone you have not heard from in years, an idea that drops into your spirit out of nowhere, a sudden clarity about a decision you have been avoiding, an opportunity that appears with no effort on your part. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations. These are the first visible signs that the invisible shift has already taken place. But you have to pay attention, because the evidence will not always look the way you expect it to look. It will not always come from the direction you were watching. It will not always make logical sense at first. This is why so many people miss their moment. They are so fixated on what they think the answer should look like that they miss the answer when it shows up in a different form. Do not make that mistake. Stay open, stay flexible, stay discerning. The sign you are waiting for may come wrapped in packaging you were not expecting, and when it comes, do not hesitate. Do not overthink. Do not talk yourself out of it. Do not ask for 17 confirmations before you move. Because there is a window of time where the door is open, and if you do not walk through it in that window, it may close. Not permanently, but the opportunity to walk through it with ease will pass. And then you will have to go the long way around to get to the same destination. Divine timing is real, and part of walking in your destiny is learning to recognize the moment when God says, now, and having the courage to move immediately. There is a shift happening in your relationships that you need to be aware of. People who were once close to you are going to start feeling distant, not because you are doing anything wrong, but because you are vibrating at a different frequency now. And people who are not vibrating at that same frequency will either rise to meet you or naturally fall away. Do not fight it. Do not try to hold on to relationships that are loosening. Do not feel guilty for outgrowing people who are not willing to grow with you. This is part of the process. You are entering a new season, and not everyone is invited into that season. Some people were only meant to be in your life for the last chapter. They played their role. They served their purpose. And now it is time to release them with love and gratitude, instead of clinging to them out of fear or obligation. It does not mean they are bad people. It does not mean you have to have a dramatic falling out. It just means the season of that relationship has come to a natural end, and trying to force it to continue past its expiration date will only create unnecessary pain for both of you. At the same time, new people are about to enter your life. People who are aligned with where you are going, not where you have been. People who see the vision, who understand the assignment, who celebrate your growth instead of feeling threatened by it. People who add to your life instead of drain from it. People who challenge you to become better instead of enable you to stay the same. These are your tribe. These are the ones who were hand-selected by the universe to walk with you into this next chapter. And when they show up, you will know. There will be an ease, a resonance, a sense of recognition that you cannot manufacture or fake. But here is the key. You have to be willing to release the old to make room for the new. You cannot hold on to relationships that have expired and expect new relationships to have space to enter. Your life has limited capacity. Your energy has limited capacity. Your time has limited capacity. And if all of that capacity is being consumed by people who are not aligned with your future, there will be no room for the people who are. So let go. Trust the process. Trust that everyone who is supposed to be in your life will be in your life. And everyone who is not supposed to be there will exit naturally when the time is right. Type Amen if you are ready to release what no longer serves you and make room for what is aligned with your destiny. This is not easy. Letting go never is. But it is necessary. And on the other side of the letting go is a freedom you have not experienced before, a lightness, a peace, a sense that you are finally surrounded by people who get you, who see you, who value you. That is what is waiting for you. But you have to be willing to walk away from what is familiar to step into what is destined. Now, I need you to understand something about the next 90 days. This is a critical window of time. What you do in the next 90 days will determine the trajectory of the next year of your life. The decisions you make, the boundaries you set, the habits you establish, the faith you activate, all of it matters. This is not a time to coast. This is not a time to be passive. This is not a time to wait and see what happens. This is a time to be intentional, to be proactive, to be obedient to every nudge, every prompt, every instruction you receive from the Holy Spirit. You are going to feel led to do things that do not make logical sense. You are going to feel prompted to reach out to people you have not talked to in years. You are going to feel inspired to start projects you have been putting off. You are going to feel convicted to end situations you have been tolerating. Do not ignore those promptings. Do not rationalize them away. Do not wait until you feel more ready or more confident. Move when you feel the nudge, because that nudge is divine guidance. And divine guidance always leads to divine results when you are obedient to it. But if you ignore the nudge, if you talk yourself out of it, if you let fear or logic override your intuition, you will miss the moment. And missing the moment does not mean you miss your destiny permanently, but it does mean you take a longer route to get there. And beloved, you have already waited long enough. You have already been patient long enough. You have already endured enough delays. It is time to move with urgency when God says move, and rest with confidence when God says rest. This is the season where your obedience accelerates your breakthrough. There is also something shifting in your finances that you need to prepare for. For a long time, you have been operating in a season of barely enough. Just enough to get by, just enough to survive, just enough to pay the bills, but never enough to get ahead. And you have probably wondered why, especially if you are a generous person, especially if you tithe and give and sow seeds. Why does it seem like everyone else is experiencing overflow but you are still stuck in lack? Here is the truth. You were in a season of testing. God was testing your faithfulness with little before He could trust you with much. Because money is not just currency. It is a tool. And if you do not know how to steward it properly, it will destroy you instead of bless you. So God allowed you to go through a season where you had to learn how to manage with less, how to be content with what you have, how to trust Him as your source instead of trusting your job or your business or your circumstances. That season was building your character. And now that your character has been built, your capacity is about to increase. Get ready for unexpected income. Get ready for debts to be canceled. Get ready for opportunities that you did not apply for. Get ready for ideas that generate revenue in ways you never imagined. Get ready for overflow. Not the kind that comes and goes, but the kind that stays. The kind that allows you to be a blessing instead of always needing a blessing. The kind that breaks generational curses of poverty in your family. The kind that funds your vision and your purpose. It is coming, and it is coming soon. But when it comes, do not forget where it came from. Do not let the blessing replace the one who blessed you. Type 888 in the comments. 888 is the number of financial abundance, of infinite supply, of heaven opening the floodgates. If you are believing for a financial breakthrough, if you have been faithful in the season of testing, if you are ready for overflow, type 888. Declare it, claim it, receive it. And while we are talking about finances, let me be very direct. Some of you have been withholding your seed because you are waiting to see the breakthrough before you give. You are treating God like a vending machine, thinking, Let me see the result first, then I will sow. But that is not how faith works. Faith gives before it sees. Faith sows in the darkness, trusting that harvest is coming. Faith releases what it has in its hand, believing that God will multiply it. If you have been holding back your seed, that is why your harvest has been delayed. Not because God is punishing you, but because the principle of sowing and reaping requires you to sow first. So if you have been feeling prompted to give into this ministry, do not ignore that prompting. That is God giving you an opportunity to activate the blessing that is already assigned to you. Through the link in the description and the pinned comment, sow a seed. Not out of obligation or manipulation, but out of obedience. And as you sow, attach a specific prayer to that seed. What do you need God to do in your finances? Be specific. Write it down. Speak it out loud. And then release your seed in faith, knowing that the moment you sow, the harvest is set in motion. Some of you just felt resistance rise up. That is not a sign to pull back. That is a sign that you are about to break through something. The enemy does not fight you over things that do not matter. He fights you when you are about to step into something significant. And if you are feeling resistance about sowing a seed, that is confirmation that your breakthrough is attached to your obedience in this area. Do not let fear, doubt, or logic talk you out of what the Holy Spirit is prompting you to do. Move. Now, let me tell you something else that is happening behind the scenes. There are people in positions of authority and influence who have been having conversations about you. They do not know you personally yet, but your name keeps coming up. Your face keeps appearing in their mind. They keep feeling led to reach out to you, to offer you something, to connect you with someone, to open a door for you. They do not fully understand why they feel this leading, but they cannot shake it. And very soon, you are going to receive a message, an email, a phone call, a meeting invitation that seems random but is actually orchestrated. When that happens, do not dismiss it. Do not assume it is too good to be true. Do not let imposter syndrome convince you that you are not qualified. You are exactly who they are looking for. You have been prepared for this moment. And the reason it feels like it is coming out of nowhere is because it has been building in the invisible realm while you were just living your life. God has been setting this up. Angels have been arranging this. And now it is time for the manifestation. But here is the catch. When the opportunity comes, you have to be ready to move quickly. You have to have your resume updated, your portfolio ready, your pitch prepared, your mind sharp, your spirit sensitive. Because opportunities at this level do not wait around for you to get your life together. They have a small window, and if you are not ready when the window opens, it may go to someone else who is ready. So prepare now. Even if you do not know exactly what you are preparing for, prepare. Get yourself in position, because favor is about to find you. And when it does, you need to be ready to walk through the door immediately. There is also something I need to address about your health. Some of you have been battling physical symptoms that doctors cannot fully explain. You have been to multiple specialists. You have had tests done. You have tried different treatments, and nothing seems to work. Or it works temporarily and then the symptoms return. Here is what you need to understand. Not every physical symptom has a physical root. Sometimes what you are experiencing in your body is a manifestation of what you have been carrying emotionally and spiritually. Unforgiveness creates disease in your body. Bitterness creates inflammation. Anxiety creates digestive issues. Fear creates heart problems. Stress creates autoimmune responses. Your body keeps the score of everything your mind tries to suppress. And if you have been carrying emotional weight for years without releasing it, your body is going to manifest that weight in physical form. This is not to dismiss real medical conditions. This is to say that in addition to whatever medical treatment you are receiving, you also need emotional and spiritual healing. Who do you need to forgive? What do you need to release? What trauma have you been carrying that you have never fully processed? What fear have you been holding that you have never spoken out loud? It is time to deal with those things. Because your breakthrough is not just about your circumstances. It is about your wholeness. And you cannot walk into the fullness of what God has for you while carrying the weight of what was done to you. Let it go. Forgive them. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free. And the moment you release them, your body will begin to release the symptoms. Type "I forgive" in the comments if you are ready to release the weight you have been carrying. Not for them, for you. Because your freedom is too valuable to keep trading it for the temporary satisfaction of holding a grudge. Let it go. Speak it into existence. I forgive. Say it until you mean it. And watch what happens in your body, your mind, and your spirit when you finally release what you were never meant to carry. Now let me speak to those of you who are in a season of waiting for a specific relationship. You have been believing for a spouse, a partner, a companion, and it feels like everyone around you is getting married, getting engaged, finding love, while you are still alone. And the loneliness is starting to make you question whether God even cares about this area of your life. Let me tell you something. God absolutely cares. In fact, He cares so much that He has been protecting you from relationships that looked good but would have destroyed you. Every person you thought was the one who turned out not to be, that was God protecting you. Every relationship that ended and left you heartbroken, that was God redirecting you. Every season of singleness that felt unbearable, that was God preparing you. Because the person He has for you is not just anyone. They are specifically designed for you. They match your purpose, your calling, your frequency, your future. And if you had settled for someone who was not that person, you would have spent the rest of your life feeling unfulfilled, wondering what if, regretting the choice you made out of loneliness instead of waiting for the choice God made out of love. So if you are still single, it is not because something is wrong with you. It is not because you are unlovable. It is not because God forgot about you. It is because the person who is for you is still being prepared, and you are still being prepared. And when both of you are ready, the meeting will happen naturally, effortlessly, undeniably. You will not have to force it. You will not have to chase it. You will not have to manipulate it. It will just flow. Because what is meant for you will always find you when the time is right. But while you wait, do not put your life on hold. Do not stop pursuing your dreams because you are waiting for a partner to pursue them with. Do not stop traveling because you are waiting for someone to travel with. Do not stop enjoying your life because you think life does not start until you find love. That is a lie. Your life is happening right now. And the more you live fully in this season, the more attractive you become to the person who is for you. Because whole people attract whole people. And if you are sitting around being miserable waiting for someone to complete you, you are going to attract someone who is also incomplete. And two incomplete people do not make a whole relationship. So live. Enjoy this season. Discover who you are outside of a relationship. Build your career. Strengthen your friendships. Deepen your relationship with God. Travel. Create. Explore. Become so full in your singleness that when the right person shows up, they are not filling a void, they are adding to an already abundant life. That is the kind of relationship that lasts. That is the kind of love that does not turn toxic. That is what God is preparing for you. So stop rushing it. Trust the process. And know that your person is coming. Type "I trust God's timing" if you receive this word. Because sometimes the hardest part of faith is waiting when you do not see any evidence that what you are waiting for is real. But just because you cannot see it does not mean it is not happening. Trust the timing. Trust the process. Trust that God knows what He is doing even when you do not understand it. There is something else I need to tell you about your purpose. You have been feeling a pull towards something for a long time. Maybe it is a business idea. Maybe it is a creative project. Maybe it is a ministry. Maybe it is a cause. Whatever it is, you feel it tugging at your spirit, but you keep pushing it down because it feels too big, too risky, too impossible. You tell yourself you are not qualified. You do not have the resources. You do not have the connections. You do not have the time. So you keep putting it off, thinking maybe one day when circumstances are better, you will pursue it. But here is the truth. That pull you feel is not random. It is your assignment. It is what you were put on this earth to do. And every time you ignore it, every time you push it down, every time you prioritize something safer and more practical, you are delaying your destiny. Because your purpose is not separate from your fulfillment. Your purpose is the path to your fulfillment. And you will never feel fully alive, fully satisfied, fully at peace until you step into what you were created to do. I know it is scary. I know it feels impossible. I know you do not have all the answers. But you do not need all the answers to take the first step. You just need obedience. You just need faith. You just need the willingness to move even when you cannot see the full path. Because God does not show you the entire journey at once. He shows you one step at a time. And as you take that step, the next step becomes clear. But if you do not take the first step, you will stay stuck in the same place, wondering what if for the rest of your life. So what is the first step? Maybe it is registering the business name. Maybe it is buying the domain. Maybe it is having the conversation you have been avoiding. Maybe it is investing in the course. Maybe it is quitting the job that is draining your soul. Maybe it is saying yes to the opportunity that scares you. Whatever it is, you already know what it is. The Holy Spirit has already told you. You have just been ignoring it because it feels too big. Stop ignoring it. Take the step. Move in obedience. And watch how God shows up when you show up. Type "I am ready" in the comments if you are ready to stop playing small and step into your purpose. Because the world needs what you carry. The people you are called to serve are waiting for you. And every day you delay is another day they go without what only you can give them. It is time. You are ready. You have been ready. Now move. Let me also talk to those of you who are dealing with a family situation that feels impossible. Maybe it is a prodigal child. Maybe it is a broken marriage. Maybe it is a sick parent. Maybe it is a sibling who is making destructive choices. You have been praying. You have been believing. You have been standing in faith, but nothing seems to be changing. And you are starting to wonder if you are praying wrong, believing wrong, if maybe God just is not going to move in this situation. Here is what I want you to know. Your prayers are not falling on deaf ears. Every single prayer you have prayed has been heard. Every tear you have cried has been collected. Every moment you have stood in faith has been noted. And even though you do not see the change yet, things are shifting in the spiritual realm. Chains are breaking. Blinders are being removed. Hearts are being softened. Minds are being renewed. The enemy is losing his grip. And very soon you are going to see the manifestation of what you have been believing for. But here is the key. You cannot control the timing. You cannot force the change. You cannot manipulate the outcome. All you can do is remain faithful in prayer, faithful in belief, faithful in love. Because sometimes the breakthrough does not come because of what you do. It comes because of who you are. Your faith creates an atmosphere that makes it easier for the person you are praying for to encounter God. Your prayers create openings in the spiritual realm for divine intervention. Your love creates a safe place for them to return to when they are ready. So do not give up. Do not stop praying. Do not stop believing. The situation may look worse before it looks better. The person may go further before they come back. But none of that means your prayers are not working. It just means the process is not complete yet. Trust God, trust the process. And know that the same God who gave you the burden to pray for this person is the same God who is going to bring the breakthrough. It is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. Type breakthrough in the comments if you are standing in faith for a family situation that seems impossible. Declare it, speak it into existence. Call those things that are not as though they are, because your words have power, your faith has power. And when you agree with what God has already spoken, you accelerate the manifestation. There is also a warning I need to give you. As you step into this new season, as things start shifting, as doors start opening, as favor starts finding you, you are going to face opposition. The enemy is not going to sit back and watch you walk into your destiny without a fight. He is going to send distractions. He is going to send discouragement. He is going to send people to plant seeds of doubt. He is going to send situations that make you question whether you heard from God correctly. This is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. This is confirmation that you are on the right path. Because the enemy does not waste his time fighting people who are not a threat. If you are experiencing spiritual warfare, if things are getting harder instead of easier, if it feels like everything is falling apart, that is actually a sign that you are about to break through into something significant. The enemy knows that if you make it through this next phase, you are going to walk into a level of authority and influence that he cannot touch. So he is throwing everything he has at you right now, trying to get you to quit before you cross the finish line. Do not quit. Do not give up. Do not retreat. This is not the time to pull back. This is the time to press in harder. Pray more, worship more, speak the word more. Surround yourself with people of faith more, because you are closer than you think. And if you can just hold on a little longer, if you can just keep believing a little longer, if you can just keep moving forward a little longer, you are going to see the breakthrough. And it is going to be bigger than you imagined. Type "I will not quit" in the comments. Declare it over your life. Declare it over your situation. Declare it over your purpose. I will not quit, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how long it takes, no matter what comes against me. I will not quit. Because quitting is not an option for someone who knows their destiny. Quitting is not an option for someone who has seen the vision. Quitting is not an option for someone who understands that their breakthrough is not just for them, but for everyone connected to them. Now let me speak to your mind for a moment, because some of you are being tormented by thoughts of fear, thoughts of doubt, thoughts of unworthiness, thoughts of failure. Thoughts that tell you that you are not enough, that you are too damaged, that you have messed up too many times, that God cannot use you. And these thoughts are on repeat in your mind, playing over and over again, creating a mental prison that is keeping you from stepping into your destiny. Here is what you need to understand. Those thoughts are not your thoughts. They are lies being planted in your mind by the enemy. And the reason he keeps planting them is because he knows that if he can control your thoughts, he can control your life. Because what you think about, you become. What you meditate on, you manifest. What you believe about yourself, you will live out. So if he can keep you thinking thoughts of defeat, you will live a defeated life. If he can keep you thinking thoughts of lack, you will live a life of lack. If he can keep you thinking thoughts of unworthiness, you will live a life where you never step into what you are worthy of. But you have the power to break that cycle. You have the authority to cast down every thought that does not align with the Word of God. You do not have to accept every thought that enters your mind. You can challenge it. You can reject it. You can replace it with truth. And the more you do that, the weaker those lies become. Eventually, they lose their power completely, and your mind becomes a place of peace instead of a war zone. So starting today, I want you to become aware of what you are thinking. And every time a negative thought enters your mind, I want you to immediately speak a truth to counter it. If the thought says you are not enough, speak the truth that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. If the thought says you are too broken, speak the truth that God specializes in restoring broken things. If the thought says you have messed up too many times, speak the truth that God's mercies are new every morning. Fight the lies with truth. And watch how your mind begins to transform. Type "I take authority over my thoughts" in the comments, because this is a battle you cannot afford to lose. Your mind is the battlefield, and whoever controls your mind controls your destiny. So take authority, take control. and refuse to let the enemy rent space in your head any longer. There is also something shifting in your confidence. For a long time, you have struggled with insecurity. You have compared yourself to others. You have questioned your value. You have downplayed your gifts. You have hidden your light because you did not want to seem prideful or arrogant. But that season is over. God is restoring your confidence, not the kind of confidence that is rooted in arrogance or pride, but the kind of confidence that is rooted in knowing who you are and whose you are. You are a child of God. You are chosen. You are anointed. You are equipped. You are qualified, not because of what you have done, but because of who He is. And when you truly understand that, you stop apologizing for taking up space. You stop shrinking to make other people comfortable. You stop hiding your gifts because you are afraid of what people will think. You step into your full identity. And you walk in the authority that has always been yours. This new confidence is going to change the way you show up. It is going to change the way you speak. It is going to change the way you carry yourself. People are going to notice. Some are going to be inspired. Some are going to be intimidated. Some are going to accuse you of being prideful. Let them. You are not living for their approval anymore. You are living for an audience of one. And as long as you are aligned with God, it does not matter what anyone else thinks. Type "I am confident in who God made me to be" in the comments. Declare it, own it, walk in it, because the world needs the fullness of who you are. Not the watered-down version, not the apologetic version, the full, bold, unapologetic version. That is who is about to step into this next season. Before we go any further, I need to pause and speak to those of you who have been supporting this ministry faithfully. You have been sowing seeds. You have been sharing the messages. You have been praying for this work. And I want you to know that your faithfulness has not gone unnoticed. God sees you. He knows your name. He knows your situation. And He is about to reward you in ways that will leave you speechless. You are about to experience a return on every seed you have sown, not just financially, but in every area of your life. The prayers you prayed for others are about to be answered for you. The blessings you spoke over others are about to manifest in your own life. The generosity you showed when you did not have much is about to come back to you multiplied. Get ready, because harvest season is here, and it is going to be abundant. And for those of you who have been watching these messages but have never sown a seed, today is your day. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting until you have more. Sow from where you are. Through the link in the description and the pinned comment, release a seed. It does not have to be a large amount. It just has to be obedient. And as you sow, attach your specific prayer to it. What do you need God to do? Name it, claim it. And watch how God moves when you move in faith. Let me also address those of you who are dealing with a delay in something God promised you. Maybe He gave you a vision years ago. Maybe He spoke a word over your life. Maybe He showed you something in a dream, and you have been waiting for it to manifest. But year after year, nothing happens. And now you are starting to think maybe you heard wrong. Maybe it was just your imagination. Maybe it is never going to happen. Here is what I need you to understand. Delay is not denial. Just because it has not happened yet does not mean it is not going to happen. God is not a man that He should lie. If He spoke it, He will do it. If He promised it, He will fulfill it. The delay is not because He forgot. The delay is because the timing is not right yet. And if it happened before the right time, you would not be ready for it. You would not be able to steward it properly. You would not appreciate it the way you will after you have waited for it. So do not give up on the promise. Do not let the delay discourage you. Do not assume that because it is taking longer than you expected that it is not going to happen. Hold on to what God said. Keep believing. Keep preparing. Keep positioning yourself, because the manifestation is closer than you think. And when it finally happens, it is going to be worth every second you waited. Type "the promise is still yes" in the comments. Speak it over your situation. Remind yourself that God has not changed his mind. Remind the enemy that he cannot stop what God has ordained. Remind heaven that you are still standing in faith. The promise is still yes, and the manifestation is on the way. There is also something happening in your prayer life that you need to be aware of. You are entering a season where your prayers are going to be answered faster than they have ever been answered before. There is an acceleration happening in the spiritual realm. Things that used to take years are going to happen in months. Things that used to take months are going to happen in weeks. Things that used to take weeks are going to happen in days. This is the season of suddenly. But here is the key. You have to be praying specific prayers. Vague prayers get vague results. If you pray, "God bless me," he will. But the blessing may not look like what you were hoping for. If you pray, "God provide for me," he will. But the provision may not be in the area you needed it most. You have to get specific. You have to tell God exactly what you need, exactly what you are believing for, exactly what you want him to do. Not because he does not already know, but because your specificity demonstrates your faith. So starting today, I want you to write down 3 specific prayers, 3 specific things you are believing God for in this season. And I want you to pray those prayers every single day. Not long, elaborate prayers, just simple, specific, faith-filled declarations. And watch how quickly God begins to move on those specific requests. Because when you pray with specificity and faith, you activate angelic assignment. You give heaven something specific to work on, and the results are undeniable. Type "I pray with specificity and faith" in the comments, and then actually do it. Write down your 3 specific prayers, pray them daily, and prepare to see the answers manifest faster than you ever thought possible. Now let me speak to those of you who are carrying a secret burden, something you have never told anyone, a shame, a regret, a mistake, a sin. You have been carrying it alone for so long that it has become a weight you do not even realize you are carrying anymore. But it is affecting you. It is affecting your relationship with God. It is affecting your confidence. It is affecting your ability to step into your purpose because you feel disqualified. You feel unworthy. You feel like if people really knew what you did, they would not look at you the same way. Here is what I want you to know. God already knows. And he still chose you. He still called you. He still anointed you. Your past does not disqualify you from your future. Your mistakes do not cancel out your purpose. Your sin does not negate your assignment. Because God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And if he called you, and he did, then he has already made provision for everything you have done and everything you will do. So stop carrying that weight. Stop punishing yourself. Stop hiding. Bring it into the light. Confess it to God. Receive his forgiveness. And then forgive yourself. Because the only person still holding it against you is you. God let it go the moment you repented. The enemy wants you to keep carrying it because as long as you are weighed down by guilt and shame, you will never step into the fullness of what God has for you. But today, that changes. Today, you lay it down. Today, you walk in freedom. Type "I am forgiven" in the comments. Say it until you believe it, because you are, fully, completely, permanently. And it is time you started living like it. There is one more thing I need to say before we close, and this is the most important part. Everything I have shared with you tonight, every promise, every prophecy, every word, it all hinges on one thing: your relationship with God, not your religion, not your rituals, your relationship. Because you can do all the right things, say all the right words, follow all the right rules, and still miss the presence of God. And without his presence, none of this matters. So before you chase the breakthrough, chase him. Before you pursue the promise, pursue his presence. Before you focus on the destination, focus on the relationship. Because when you have him, you have everything. And everything else is just extra. The blessings are wonderful. The breakthroughs are amazing. The favor is incredible. But none of it compares to the peace, the joy, the fulfillment that comes from simply knowing Him and being known by Him. So make that your priority, not the stuff, not the status, not the success, Him. And when you make Him your priority, everything else falls into place. Not because you are chasing it, but because He is arranging it. That is the secret. That is the key. That is the foundation of everything I have shared with you tonight. Type Jesus is my priority in the comments if you receive this word. Because at the end of the day, He is all that matters. Everything else is temporary. Everything else will fade. But your relationship with Him is eternal. And investing in that relationship is the wisest decision you will ever make. Beloved, you have stayed with this message from beginning to end. That is significant. Most people would have scrolled away. Most people would have dismissed it, but you stayed. And that tells me something about you. You are hungry. You are desperate. You are ready. And when someone is truly ready, God moves. So I am believing with you tonight. I am agreeing with you in prayer. I am declaring that everything God has spoken over your life is coming to pass. Every promise is manifesting. Every door is opening. Every obstacle is being removed. Every delay is ending. Every prayer is being answered. Every tear is being turned into testimony. You are stepping into the greatest season of your life. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is going to stop what God has already ordained. Now go, walk in faith, move in obedience, stand in confidence. And watch how God shows up and shows out on your behalf. Your breakthrough is here. Your moment is now, and your future is brighter than you ever imagined. Amen.